We start the second measure. Introduce an extension of RAG knowledge. First words. We need to know about the organization of RAG. First, the chunk. You can understand. Why RAG? The most basic unit is not a document. You can understand. Because the document could be a book. Could be very, very long. If not sliced. Throw a whole book at the big model. Because large models have the length limit of token. It may not take that much. Okay, so what to say? We usually need to put this document in this chunk, usually called a document block. The second is the collection. What about the collection? In fact, it is what we said above. A document block. A collection of it. This is similar to our MySQL database. Its table. Put this different document together. Of course, a document can belong to multiple collections. There's no problem. Another is the graph. How about this one? Because we do document segmentation. The entire book, or multiple books in the library. It's actually linear. Search piece by piece. Then make a ranking. See who has the best relevance. But a simple example. Like an answer. The front may be in the summary of a book. And a lot of these details, perhaps in each chapter. In that case, we use search directly. It may not be fully searched, because my search is based on the word. It could be the word, hyponym, or related words, may not be found. So we quote the knowledge graph. Most of the current RAG knowledge base all support basic search. Add graph. We call it DAG. Then, the first is to introduce what is chunk. Chunk words. In fact, a lot of research is being done. How to divide the document. Think about it. If it is cut long, the big model can't accept it. Cut too small. Possible answer to a question. Divided into different documents. Maybe he has such a recall problem. Answers that may be required. One is in document 1. One is in document 2. It's cut apart. Then maybe this chunk. Fragment 2 has no recall. Not found. Our questions may not be fully answered. How to split. What is the most common segmentation? Sharding is like 500 words each. 500 token each. In other words, it can also be segmented according to this semantics. There are so many. If you are interested, you can find some relevant papers by yourself. Our most common basic is this. Fixed size chunk by fixed length. This is the concept of chunk. Because of the chunk, when making documents for everyone, you can see the previous section. I put a document directly into storage. The segmentation is automated. Of course, we can pass some parameters to set these things up. Generally speaking, we use the default. Then, our real, the most basic unit of knowledge. It's all our chunk. You can take a look at the text block. Through such a API chunk list. There are also very, very many. Then it's our collection. What about the collection? People think it might be equivalent to Mongo or MySQL. Some tables in DB. The most common. There is a DB. There are many different tables in a DB. I might have a different watch for organization. Otherwise, it may be indistinguishable. For example, a project to do this kind of enterprise. One is to do my personal project. What about each project? Probably a collection. This is a concept similar to a table. There's nothing special about this. If you have done a database, equivalent to table, it's our default. RAG is generally chunk 0. Do not design data tables. It defaults to chunk 0. All documents are placed in collection 0 by default, if you don't set it separately. Once added is collection 0, equivalent to the full table. But then, we can also do this control. Which table do you put it in? Because of R2R, it's based on chunk. And the collection do a lot of functions, including user authentication. Yes, you can only use this table. Some can only use that table. Did a lot of secondary function development. In addition, tables can also be searched. If you make an analogy, let's take a look. That's our entire library. The library is the entire database. Then, such a collection. It is similar to a specific one of ours, a table or a topic. Then chunk documents. The long document breaks into this chunk. Short document, maybe a block, corresponding to a page of a book. Let's see how it works. I have one like this. Index list. Something like this. If this is the case, that is, every collection is equivalent to the data table. No and nothing specific. Just need it. That is to say, when we use it, add the document to this table. Just add it to this collection. Nothing special. First, I build a collection. Initialize the client first. Then build again. After creation, you remember that? It's collection ID. Then we add another document. We associate this document with this collection. It is equivalent to putting this doc ID added to this collection, but actually is to divide the document into many chunks. Add this chunk to the collection uniformly, because for the sake of everyone, logical convenience, he can't say how many chunks. Let you add them one by one. So intuitively, it must be very convenient to use like this. But what about its inner workings? It's actually divided into chunks. Then put these chunks added to this collection. Then we use RAG when answering questions. The core is to use this filter. Make sure to use this collection ID. If you don't write this collection ID, it is equivalent to using collection 0. All data tables. Only use the documents in this collection to answer the question. You can take a look. There is chunkid in it. Everyone can use its API. Take a look at the specific content here. That's all, thanks.